And here we go again. Welcome back to Jenny Thermo Crazy Kitchen, live at 5. Feels a little bit like Groundhog Day already, doesn't it? So thanks again for tuning in, either live now or maybe you watch the replay later. That's absolutely fine. When you are here, just do me a favor, give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. Every time you see something new, I would love to hear back from you so that I know that what I'm doing here is helpful for you and interesting for you. So just let me know that you're here, and yeah, that really makes me happy. Okay, so today we will talk about the bowl, blade and lid set, BBL, with a different meaning, right? BBL, it's the cricketer amongst you will know what I mean. So that's what we call it internally, the BBL. So bowl, blade and lid set. So when you first receive your Thermomix, then hopefully your consultant has shown you the importance on how to take this beautiful bowl apart and how to put it back together again. If you have experienced that the bowl at the base and the lid is very tight and hard to take apart and you have given up, I encourage you to try it again. That's completely normal when you receive the machine new, that all the sealing rings, it is straight out of the factory, it sits really tight, and I give you that much. But after a couple of cookings, what will happen, the heat will soften up the silicone ring inside and it will be easy to take it apart. So if you haven't tried it again yet, please do so. And here is how we do this. So there's in the instruction manuals also a picture in there how to see it. But basically all you need to know is that is a 3-piece jigsaw. That's all. Should be able to do that, right? Okay, so if you're right-handed, you want to take the ball into your left hand because your right hand is the stronger one, and that's the one where we will have our hands on the base. So take it in, if you're right hand, take it in your left hand, hold the handle like that, the ball in front of you, and now have a look here at the bottom. So we do have a gap, and this is where our, where are they? The 4 fingers go in, right? This is like a really good grip here. And my thumb and the rest of the hand, the palm, just sits right there. So what we're going to do now is we keep the handle straight and we turn the base to the left to release. And you can see, so that's very easy when you have done a couple of cookings. Then you can hold the base like that. Don't turn the bowl upside down, otherwise the blades will fall out and they might stuck somewhere unpleasant. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, have the base safely here, and now we can take out the blades. All right, just wiggle them a little bit if necessary. Only touch them on the top or on the bottom here. All right, not in between. Solid engine steel, super sharp. So you don't want that. You don't want to touch that. All right, and then you have your empty bowl here, and you can see that little flower symbol here. And here are the pins, and you can also see, you notice this little green flap here. That has been designed a couple of years ago because we had not a lot, but we had, let's say 70% of our service requests were spillage inside the machine. And it happened when people were trying to put the bowl back into the machine without the base being attached. And I'm not judging anyone. This can happen easily in, family, kitchen, distractions, doorbells rings, phone call, and half an hour later you come back in the kitchen going, I need to start cooking. And it looks like, when you look at it now, it looks like as if the bowl's sitting in there and you start pouring in liquid, and that's how it happens. The older models, the older TM5 bowls, don't have that flap. So now this flap here, as you can actually see, it prevents me from putting the ball in. So it really doesn't work. So this should really tell everyone, even when you are distracted and you come here, oh yeah, something doesn't look right. Okay, so that's why that little flap is here. So check your TM5 bowls. The later models do also have that flap. If you don't have it, you need to be extra careful that you never put the bowl back into the machine. Hot tip here, if you do have the base and you take it apart, and as you all know, this one doesn't usually get dirty, put it back into machine if you have to, but put it the other way around. Okay, so upside down, that tells you it's not assembled. So even if you are getting distracted and you want to do this, even now, even here, you will see, okay, this is not ready for use. This is clearly not assembled. Very often, it's also not the owner of the Thermomix, it's other people in the household trying to help, or who did not have that instruction on how to put it back together. All right, so now you know how to take it apart. This can go straight in the dishwasher if you like. I use my bowl gets in the bottom drawer, and my blade always goes in my cutlery basket. As I said, this one usually doesn't get dirty, so most of the time I don't put it in there. I put it separately, and or as I said, I store it inside the machine, but upside down. So everyone in the household knows, not ready to use. Okay, so now we have cleaned all of that, and well, we want to put it back together again. So now I need to, oh yeah, no, I think you can see that. Now, so two different ways of putting it back together again. Let me show you what Thermomix recommends doing. So you have the base with that nozzle. I show it like this, so if it points in that direction, you want to put the base, the bowl, next in with the handle in a 30-degree angle away from that little nozzle here. All right, and you can feel it because it doesn't go any further. So this is the right angle, because in this angle, this little flower inside has opened up. So now we're putting the blades, and again, touching them only on the top, wiggle them all the way through, and I hold my finger on top of the blades, like that, so it doesn't pop up again. And now with my right hand again, I just push the handle and that nozzle back together. All right, and again, it's going to be easy if you have done a couple of cookings in your bowl in there. Another way of doing it, and that was back in the olden days, I show you, maybe you like that version better, especially in the beginning when it's a little bit tight. So you are right-handed, like I am, so take the bowl in your right hand. With your left hand, you pop the blades inside, and you need to hold them because you turn the bowl upside down. All right, so now as you can see, I'm holding the blades inside, and now I take the base, turn it upside down, and again, you can feel when it's done in that 30-degree angle away, and now I can push them back together. All right, so you can always check before you pop it back in that the blades are turning. When you can move them here from the bottom. All right, so this is the only way the base goes back into the machine, and as you can see now, it fits perfectly inside there. Right, when we have done the cooking, you know, we always lift the bowl straight up. If it's full of beautiful chicken curry, or let's say a butter chicken, my favorite, then the 2.2 litre can be quite heavy. So what Thermomix has designed is that handle is actually ergonomically designed. So you can lift it up down here, and when you want to pour it, let me show it that way, when you want to pour it, it's easier ergonomically when you hold it there on the bottom rather than doing this, you know, with your whole arm. How clever is that? Do you not know that? Okay, so then we do have our measurements what's my light doing outside? So you can use that when you holding it under the faucet and trying to fill in the water. So we have half a liter, 1 liter, 1.5, 2 liter, and maximum is 2.2 liters, right? And you have the same view also from the inside, which is quite handy when you just pouring in the water and see how it goes, right? This is all stainless steel, that's why it's really easy to clean, and it doesn't take on any smells. So you can make a dessert, you can make a fruity dream, a sorbet straight after the curry without any transfer of the smells. All right, so sometimes the blades get, depends on what we're making, but sometimes you can find things just stuck underneath the blades there. So a little brush, something like this, so this isn't from a mix shop, but they do sell similar ones right there, can help, and you can just use that little brush here to go underneath and in between, especially if you don't have a dishwasher. But what I also do, hang on, I wanted to show you, you can use a normal cloth and also just use that, go here inside and yeah, thread it through the blades there to go underneath. All right. So that was the first cleaning tip. Sometimes we get questions, how long do the blades last? There is actually a little bit of a lifetime suggestion. Depends on how much you're using them and what you're using them for. So in your instruction manual, there is actually where is it? On page 40, there's a little list where it says, depending on how much you're milling and crushing ice, for example, if you do it on a daily basis, then how long the blades are supposed to live. But just to let you know, usually it's not the milling that strips the blades, usually it's the cheese. So grating cheese in your Thermomix is a wonderful, fantastic thing to do. You just need to be careful with cutting the pieces and not to overload. So check the resources in the back after the hot chocolate of your basic cookbook for instructions on how to grate cheese. Yes, they do strip. That is to protect your machine, because if there's an overload, then the machine says, well, rather you buy new blades rather than a new motor. That would be more expensive. Okay, so continuing with the cleaning. So let's pretend we have now made a beautiful dip, a guacamole, for example, one of my favorite dips. And you have finished that. So you took that in the ergonomic handle and you use either the spatula that came with it. And the way I'm doing it, so it's the first part of cleaning, right? Emptying the bowl. So 2 ways of scraping. So usually what happens, or what I do, is I scrape down from the top to the bottom so that I have everything in the bottom. Or you can do the 360 method. So you go around the bowl first, and then basically everything goes to the bottom as well. And then we start scraping out. So important is that you only touch the back side of the blades with your spatula, whether it's this one or any other silicone spatula, because the back side is blunt, all right? Otherwise you will cut them up over time, and yeah, that's not so funny. You want to protect your spatulas, do you? All right, so we get everything out. But I can tell you there is at least another tablespoonful of guacamole left in my Thermomix right now. And because you can't lick the bowl, head doesn't fit in. I tried, you can't. What you want to do next is put the bowl back into the machine and go on speed 10 just for a couple of seconds. No timing setting necessary. And what will happen then is on speed 10, basically all the rest and also what's underneath the blades will just flick everything to the side. It's physics. And then let's say 3 or 4 seconds later, again cooking with your ears, you will hear it when nothing flicks anymore. Then go back and scrape out the rest so you get the final spoonful of your beautiful dip also out of there. So once we've done that, we want to clean it. So the TM6 has now a couple of different pre-clean programs, options available, and you can use them. They're great, and they are basically, depending on what you've made in it, it makes the suggestion. So there is a dough setting. If you had dough, again, do the same thing, that speed 10 first to get all the little bits and pieces out, and then go into the pre-clean and choose the dough setting. There's an info sheet about how much to put in there, and it's usually 1 liter of water, and the dough and the universal setting, they just want a droplet of your dishwashing liquid. If you choose the browning function or the browning pre-clean, don't use the dishwashing liquid, use vinegar instead, because what will happen, it takes some time, it will heat up the water, and when you have too much dishwashing liquid in it, it will foam up and it might come out on the top. If you're unsure about that, click on the little info button on the pre-clean mode, and it will tell you there exactly what and when to put in there. So this is one method that you can do. The TM5 method for the pre-clean, if you have a cookie, you will have a software update and also have a pre-clean mode. Before that, what I usually did was just pop it all back in there again, a liter of water, a drop of Morning Fresh, pop it back on 7 seconds speed 7, and I go 7 seconds speed 7 on reverse, and that's about it. So, but again, it depends on what you've made in it. So for the browning, I usually use the pre-clean mode. And then after that, you use your Thermomix brush, either the green one. And I know, it's just, when you look at it, don't get any ideas, all right? It is a bowl brush, not to be used for anything else. Even it looks similar, but this is the bowl one. Okay, so, and it's designed really to go inside the bowl. And what I usually do is I just go a couple of times backwards, and this way I also go with my brush underneath the blade. So this is great for in between cooking, and then just rinse it out and have it ready to go for the next dish. If you prefer, there's also an equal brush available. And sometimes when the browning, you've done the browning or the high heat function in there, it might still be a little bit of residue. And this is now when my extra cleaning tips come in handy. So there is a couple of recipes basically available out there. One of them, for example, is a lemon and egg wash. And what you can do, so from your cooking, when you squeeze lemons, and you hopefully have peeled them beforehand and kept the peels in your freezer, so you always have them ready in case you don't have a fresh lemon around. And but then what to do with the rest? All right, usually you throw it away. So I encourage you to keep them, cut them into pieces, keep them in the freezer for the next egg and lemon wash, so you don't have to use up a fresh lemon for that. And you cut it all up, and eggshells that you have, you can also keep them in the freezer and just chuck them in there and then mill them up a couple of seconds. And then you can have a check on the bottom. If that's not there, if that hasn't done the trick, you can add some more water, and you can also heat it up just to give the acidity more time to help you with lifting the caramelization from the bottom. Another trick is use pineapple skin. Did you not know that? Well, it was new to me, but some of my Asian consultants have shared that trick with me. And again, it's the acidity of the pineapple that will help with the releasing of the browning in there. Alternatively, you can buy in the supermarket, it's from the baking aisle. This is citric acid or tartaric acid, and have a teaspoonful of this with 500 ml of water, and cook that for 10 minutes on 100 degrees. Again, it's also great, by the way, for the kettle. to clean your kettle every now and then. And then again, go in there with the brush and clean it up. If you have really hard residue in there, I recommend these Euro Scrubbies. I think they are made from recycled plastic bottles, not too sure, but they are available in the mix shop, and they are sturdy, but they're also really gentle on the stainless steel here, but not on the dirt. So they really help to get that all out and lifted. If all of that fails and still you can't get the last bits and pieces out, you can use half a tablet of your dishwasher tablet, half of them, and heat that up again with about a litre of soy. We call it a deep clean, with a litre of water, or 500 grams of water is actually fine enough, and then you cook that for 10 minutes on Varoma on the slowest setting in there. That usually does the trick for me. So if everything else fails, then half a dishwashing tablet is the rescue here. If you want to, I do have a little cheat sheet here about deep clean tips. So basically everything that I've mentioned and a couple more are on this sheet here available. If you want them, get in touch with me, or PM me, or direct message me, and I'm going to ask for your email. Then I can email you this cheat sheet. It's really, really handy for those of you who want to have a little bit more of that. And finally, that was a trick I shared the other day on the Thermomix page somewhere, and it basically went viral. So I really, really need to share that with you. Obviously, all fun and games with the spatula and all of that. But what if you're milling, let's say, icing sugar or some spice mixes, and then it's really hard to get them out with the spatula, so no matter which one you have. So here's my hot tip. Get a pastry brush, and now I think you already know what I mean. So if you got all that powder sitting in there, so instead of your spatula, use a brush, all right? And you can go in there and you get every little bits and piece out there to the final, and yeah, and nothing's wasted there. All right, so I think, checking on my list, yes, that was everything I had for today for my bowl. Again, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, but also leave me a comment if there's anything else you want to see. Tomorrow I will be back with, and I think that's my favorite of this week, I'm going to present you my top 10 favorite mix shop items. I think I do have them all. No, that's not true. But, and I've got some that I like better than others, but tomorrow I'm going to present you my top 10. And yeah, I hope you're looking forward to tuning in again or watch the replay. Either way, absolutely fine. And yeah, thanks for watching today. See you soon. Bye now.